BJ, let me ask you also, like, if you're working with some parents of like a younger athlete, or typically I would imagine it's the parents that like say, "Hey, here's my athlete." Not often, like they're coming, the 16-year-old probably not coming to you directly, not their parents. So, but in your studies and in your background and your skill set, like you probably see some times when parents really are a big part of why the athlete is not performing well. So let me ask you, like, do you see like a number one common problem or thing that parents do that really impacts negatively their athlete, their kids' behavior?
Yeah, anxiety.
Athletics, yeah.
Anxiety.
Yeah,
anxiety.
Yeah.
So there's a cycle that I teach my athletes, right? It's EPNA, right? EPNA, and that stands for expectation. Right? You have expectation. You're supposed to play a specific way for a number of reasons, either because I spent so much time and money preparing you, sending you to camp, right? Or it's listen, man, we won state in 1990, whatever. You're up here embarrassing me, or you need to play like how I played. It's expectation. I'm expected to play a specific way, right? The P is a spinoff of the E. It's pressure. Right? So you have pressure is what you feel. You feel the pressure from being expected to play at a specific level on the field or the court. Then the N is the nervousness, right? You're nervous before games. Pre-game anxiety, right? Anticipatory anxiety. Then the A, of course, is the overarcher, which is the anxiety piece, right? And the reason why is because now that athlete, he seeks to play that sport. It was once fun. Now when they get older, it's becoming a threat to them. The possibility of me failing at my sport is almost unbearable. I cannot fail at this sport. I got to get back in the car with my dad after the game. I got to go home, right? And so now that becomes a threat. Then you start talking about the yips. You start talking about, I had the yips when I was 16, so I know exactly how this is. But it becomes a threat. You parents have got to make sure that sport is not a threat to that child or to that athlete. It's not a threat. It's a game. It's fun. When we start talking about everything that can come from it, draft and D1 scholarship and all this other stuff, then it becomes pressure. No, don't make it a threat. Make it fun. The level of performance by the sport being fun will allow them to have a college scholarship. It's got to be fun, though. It can never be a threat. They need to feel protected, not unprotected by that sport. The spinoff or the result, I should say, of the performance should never dictate the relationship of parent and player. It never should, ever. Because I promise, once you tear that relationship up from that performance, it's going to be hard to get it back. And sometimes you might not. I'm talking about the parent, son, daughter, mother, son, daughter, father, all that. Relationship is going to be hard to get back once you tear that up from baseball, basketball, football, soccer, cheerleading, whatever.
Man, that's deep, because it made me think about like the parents. Typically, the parents' intention is, I love my kid. I want them to be successful. I'm going to tell them all this stuff, and somehow this is going to help. But the kid already knows how it works. They don't need to be reminded on a constant basis of the expectation and the pathway to maybe pro sports.
But sometimes what happens as well is that the player gets so, again, we talked about it, the player gets so good at the sport to where the parent sees the potential in the kid or the child, the athlete, and when they're not giving their all, that's when the parent becomes upset. Now, the question becomes, the existential question now is, what is preventing that child from performing at its maximum level, at its optimal level? Now that's the question that parents don't answer, because again, they're more reactive. They're emotional now. So you can't stop and logically think about what are the factors and the variables that are preventing my child or children to play from playing at their highest level. That's the question that parents never ask. So that's a question that needs to be answered, because it can be high school distractions. For girls, you got boys, and you got confidence things at school, and you got self-esteem, and you got my friends aren't going to do this, and like there's a number of variables that parents for some reason just do not ask. So that's the real question.
I love that. So to boil it down and keep it simple for the parents, what are the things that are inhibiting that maximum expression of potential?
Exactly.
And it could be just their own behavior, the parents' behavior. So instead of making it like a blame thing or super psychological, you could just simply say, do you think that constantly reminding your child of expectations and pressure helps or hinders performance?
Yeah, that's the question.
And keep it simple. If the parents got some half awareness, they'll probably say, "Oh yeah, like that might be bad, right?"
1,000%.
I like that. So EPNA.
Yes.
So expectation, pressure, nervousness, and anxiety. I just wrote this down.